Hello and welcome back to the Cannabis Sommelier. I'm your host, Andrew Freedman. Thanks for joining me for another episode of Cannabis Reviews. Today, we have some wonderful cannabis from a producer I haven't tried before, but it's a very classic strain and probably one of the most famous in the entire world, to be very honest with you. What is it? We have White Widow from Canaca, and White Widow was bred by the king of Cannabis, Aroma himself, in the 90s. I believe it's a cross of a South Indian Indica and a Brazilian landrace sativa, and you got what is White Widow. So Canaca, I don't really know anything about Canaca, to be very honest with you. High Park Holdings, service at High Park Company, 3.5 grams are in this jar, and this was packed on the 23rd of October. Today is December the 12th, so not that far out, and I did purchase this in Strathmore at, oh geez, sorry, I forgot the store name. But you can see, seal's still on. I like the stickers on the package, it's looking nice. So let's break into it, and first things first, see how it smells, and then make sure that there is enough cannabis. So again, White Widow coming to us from Greenhouse Seeds, very famous. Definitely tried a lot of White Widow in my day. How is the package? Okay, so there's 3.5 grams in that you can hear the loose space. So we will see 16.8% THC. There is 0.1% CBD, whole flower. They have another safety seal. That's something I haven't seen yet. And that's it. What's our warning today? Cannabis can be addictive. Up to half the people who use cannabis on a daily basis have work, social, or health problems from using cannabis. Well, I understand that cannabis is habit forming, but I don't think addictive is actually the correct verbiage that you are supposed to use, Health Canada. So, okay, Canaca, whole flower, High Park Holdings. Let's break in. Okay, so that's one I can't rip through with my finger, so we gotta rip it off like that. That's, I guess, a nice safety seal. Hopefully it's sealed on top in here. I'll never understand after all this packaging and everything why it has to be child proof, but that's okay. It's not like a beer is child proof, which I always think is odd, and kids can open those. Okay, it had a whiff out of trapped air. First impression, there are some terpenes. It doesn't smell extremely old, and there is my 1/8 of cannabis. Let's get it in front of my face and zoom in. And you can see, I haven't looked too closely at it, but from that view, looking at it on the computer screen in the light, I can see that it has some decent crystal. So let's look a little closer. It's nice that my nugs, it's not super larfy by any extent. Actually, they're all nugs, even though most of them are popcorn nugs. It is a handful of nugs. It is what I would expect to see as an 1/8. There's nothing here that appearance-wise that I'm like, oh, this is terrible. You know, it's really well trimmed. Is it beaten? A little bit, for sure. You can see that the fan leaves and everything are kind of twisted in some different directions. So maybe it was a victim of wet trim. We'll look a little closer with my pocket microscope. But let's put it on the scale and see if we got value for what we paid. I believe I paid $32 for this cannabis. And there is actually only 3.4 grams on the scale, so it is short. That's always unfortunate, especially since it was packed so closely, but I have been told that there is an allowable variance, I believe, of 15 to 20% of packed weight, so that's massive. But oh, it's actually gone down to 3.3 on the scale now. So there is 3.3 in the container from Canaca, which is, you know, kind of upsetting. It's really kind of ridiculous that if the cannabis looks all right, then now I have to expect that it's short. If you've watched other reviews, the same thing has kind of happened. So, you know, when paying premium prices, you really value that point too. It's still a couple bucks. Okay, so 3.3 on the scale. let's dig back into the nose and check out these nuggies. So on the nose, there's like berry aromas and kind of these lemon, citrus, a little bit of sandalwood aromas. There is, it's reminiscent of kind of haziness, but it also, I don't know, if I was gonna relate it to something, it would be a little bit sour green apple, a little bit lemon sucker, a little bit like not geranium, the classic potpourri flower. Chrysanthemum? I want to say it's a chrysanthemum. There is definitely aromas here. Let's break into a nug and see how it smells once I break into it. Choose this little nuggie. Very stiff. There is some moisture. And the floral aromas definitely stand out a little bit more once broken into. Wonderful. Okay. Well, let's take a close peek with the handy dandy pocket microscope just to see how we are looking. All right, so from my observation, very little trichome head left on those capitate stalks on the outside. The part that I observed just looked like a lot of capitate stalk, and I actually did not see a single ripe trichome head. So unfortunate, but a reality. Glad we looked with the scope. Maybe we should, I would assume that if we go to the middle, there will be ripe trichome heads. Yep, they're there. They're just very small. So the cannabis may be a little early, but there are present heads inside of the bud. So now for everybody's favorite part, let's get to tasting it. And if you remember, taste actually is indicative of 20 points. The smell is most important. This cannabis is not jumping out of the jar by any means, but it's not terrible. By any extent. It does still have the aromas of fresh cannabis or a cannabis that was cured correctly. There is some moisture, but it is quite flaky in my fingers as it falls apart. I don't know if you can see that. I'm not gonna bother. So that's interesting, and the nugs are very tight. So I wonder if before actually going into this package, if the old school vac it, suck it, let it hang out in the storage for a while happened to give the appearance of a dense nug, or if that's how it was growing out, because I don't remember my last example of White Widow being that tight. Anyways, that's irrelevant and kind of my personal observations. We have our Volcano Vape set to 6.5, just like every other single review. And here we go. So I'll take this time to thank you for checking out this cannabis review. If you're interested, go and check out all the other cannabis reviews, how to cocktail with cannabis, cannabis and wine pairings, cannabis and craft beer pairings. Lots and lots of fun stuff on the YouTube channel. There we go. Bag has quite a bit of vapor in it, which is always nice to see. Let's give it a taste. Okay. So I would say that the taste does have a nice balance with the aroma. A lot more of those floral aromas are definitely presented in the vape and a lot less of that sour haze, which is what I would have hoped would carry through, but it's still very enjoyable. It's tasty, tasty, potpourri flavored vapor, and how can you complain with that? Is it overpoweringly tasty? Is it extremely tasty? No, it's definitely in that medium ground. It's in the mid-level, but it's not bad. So let's go for the final wrap up. Let's do the points total. We've smoked it, we've smelt it, we've scoped it, we're in on it. So for the appearance, the nugs are pretty nice. I didn't get any crappy big larfy buds, but I did get small popcorn nugs, so it's gotta be a, well, nice. It looked nice, but then when you get up close, there wasn't actually anything going on. So I'm going to give it a handsome 15 for appearance. When we look to the nose did have some aromas to it, but when I opened that jar and the trapped air shot right into my nose, I should have been overpowered. I wasn't. I got lemon, green apple, that potpourri character, but it was quite a simple cannabis. Nothing insane that a connoisseur would be searching out. So for that sense, I'd like to give the Aroma 30 points. On to the taste. For the taste, again, it was simple, it was balanced, it was completely in line with the aromas, so nothing to turn my nose up at. Let's give it 15 points. And as we look towards the overall impression, my overall impression with cannabis, based on everything, you know, it's a medium level product. Again, I think it garners that, well, because I scoped it and the heads were really under and there wasn't much going on the outside, I'm going to give the overall 14 points. So we'll add that up. It's about a 75% score. It's not bad. It's a mid-grade cannabis. The price was pretty good in contrast to everything else in the store. Excited to see how it smokes in a joint. Hopefully it burns white. Thank you so much for taking the time to watch this cannabis review. I hope you'll make sure to check out everything else on the channel, and I hope to see you next time. Please make sure to share and subscribe. Cheers!
What's my name? What's my name? The Cannabis Sommelier.